Coming up.
It's not about me, love. It's not about me.
That's the quote of the day.
Comment on dit ça?
Really?
They all waited till this morning.
I don't know why they do that, and they never come in on a Monday.
And all with a French accent.
Charming, none taken.
There is no right or wrong.
Well, those jobs don't come along very often, do they?
No, they don't.
Let's do it!
Well, that sounds like fun.
And now, enjoy the podcast.
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that? Hello and welcome to How Do You Say That, sponsored by BritishVoiceover.co.uk. Here is my co-host, Samantha Boffin!
Hello, and here is my co-host, Mark Rice.
Well, this is the podcast that celebrates voice acting and reminds us that there isn't just one way to read a script, there are lots of different ways.
And how do we do that? We do that by inviting a special guest onto the show every week. And we bring a script, they bring a script, and we all get to give them both a read.
And we get to play true or false. So, Sam,
Yes.
whilst I was on holiday in Gran Canaria recently, not one, but two of my hats blew away, so I had to buy new ones. True or false?
Oh my God, well, it is windy in Gran Canaria. And I want that as a visual. I want that to be true. I mean, back they blew away so that you actually couldn't catch them. But yes, let's go with it. They blew away. You had to buy.
No, I'm afraid they did not blow away. However, one of the umbrellas around the pool did literally take off and end up
my
in the
God.
tennis court in the next door complex.
It literally went over the net, or
It
over
went,
the barrier
bang.
and everything. Oh my God!
Fortunately, it didn't skewer anyone.
Okay, so Mark, I am a scruncher, not a folder.
I'm hoping
Is
that you're
true or
talking.
false?
I'm hoping that you're talking about packing a suitcase, but I don't think
No.
you are.
I'm not.
You're talking about
Loo paper.
loo roll.
I'm going
aren't
loo
you?
paper. Yeah,
Oh,
loo roll. Are you a
God.
scruncher? No, sorry, not you. No.
It's not about me, love. It's not about me.
This is all about me.
I'm
a scruncher, not a folder.
Yes, I think you maybe are a scrunchie.
I am a scruncher, not a folder. I had this conversation last night with my kids. They were, well, one of them was not surprised and one of them was.
Is
so
this
there you
what
go.
we've come to?
Exactly. I knew you'd say that.
Let's very quickly welcome our special guest. Sorry, Kitty. It's voice actor Kitty Lyddon. Hello.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh,
Hello.
you're more than welcome. I'm hoping you can rescue me from Sam today. Let's find out a little bit more about Kitty, shall we?
Yes, let's. So Kitty is half Irish, half English, born and raised in France, and now living in Brussels. Kitty is a well-travelled voiceover, having lived in France, Ireland, the UK, Belgium and Sweden. She originally had a career in literary publishing in Dublin and book selling in Paris, but now she is a full-time voiceover and has been since 2022. She narrates in English and French.
Wow, well, unsurprisingly, she happily travels to voiceover conferences, and one of her favourite discoveries since becoming a voice is all the amazing people that she's met. Her favourite pastimes are reading a book a week, wow, and looking after her three boys, 11, 7 and 7. That's not their names, though, is it?
No, it's not.
So, thank goodness for that. All right, Kitty, have you got a fun fact for us?
When I was living in Sweden, I swam in 0-degree water while it was minus 14 degrees outside.
That sounds
That
chilly.
was cold. Yes. It was amazing. But that particular day, I remember we'd organised to meet and we went down to the lake and we started undressing, and then we sort of looked at each other and thought, it is minus 14 degrees.
Wow.
The fact that the water feels warm should be alarming us. This is probably not safe. Let's not stay here for very long.
So sorry,
Yeah.
rewind. You started undressing. So you don't go in wearing anything other than
No.
your swimming
So
costumes.
we have a swimming costume and gloves and boots. So
Gloves?
Swimming,
Well, you don't
swimming
want
gloves.
frostbite.
Yeah, swimming gloves and swimming boots, because the hands and the feet are the areas that get very cold, and also a woolly hat. So you look very peculiar. But no, wetsuits, cheating.
Well, on that freezing note, let's have a look at the first script of our show and ask, how do you say that? How do you say that?
So this is a little script I'm bringing along to you. It's an audiobook.
I have no idea what it's about. It seems like it might be quite tongue-in-cheek.
Well, if I tell you that I've brought this along because of the season that we are currently in,
Aha.
this is actually a ghost story, beginning of a ghost story.
Okay. That
Very
makes
good.
more sense.
There don't seem to be any commas at all in this script.
There aren't many, are there? No.
No, it's sort of kind of the words just keep on going.
Well, I suppose you have to insert your own commas.
Well,
Right.
Insert your own punctuation
I
in
did.
this, I think.
I've cheated
Yes.
already.
Did you actually write it in?
I
Yes,
see.
I did.
Interesting.
I
Oh
did.
my God. That's extraordinary, really. Wow. That's impressive. Okay.
Hang on, Sam. We've got a guest that's prepped.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my background in book publishing, but
It will.
punctuation
Yes, absolutely.
is a bit of a
Interesting.
that I can't help it.
So, ghost story. What kind of narrator are we? Are we a dark, mean-sounding narrator?
Well, you can take your pick.
Whenever you say that to me, then I pick the wrong thing.
You did.
There
There's
is
no
no
right or
such
wrong.
thing as a wrong thing, Mark.
There is
if
no
only
right
that
or
were
wrong.
true. If only that were true.
You kind of bring your own set of sensibilities to it.
All right. Well, I've got an idea, and it might be entirely wrong.
Okay.
But I'm going to go for it.
Let's hear it.
All right. The sale room of an old and famous firm of book auctioneers in London is, of course, a great meeting place for collectors, librarians, dealers, not only when an auction is in progress, but perhaps even more notably when books that are coming on for sale are upon view. It was in such a sale room that the remarkable series of events began which were detailed to me by the person whom they principally affected, namely Mr. James Denton, M.A., F.S.A., etc., now or lately of Rendcomb Manor in the county of Warwick.
Nice. I really like that. It's not something that I would have thought of, but it was kind of like you were setting the scene. Like, shit's about to go down. You could feel the anticipation in the voice.
Yeah, you were definitely a character, weren't you?
I was going a little Watson.
Ah.
Yeah. I felt the weight of age on you. I don't mean age as in you were aging up, but I felt that sort of nostalgic,
Yes.
slightly old-fashioned, which absolutely works.
Good.
With a book
That's
like
what I
this.
was aiming for. So at least that
Absolutely
bit works.
works with a book like this. Yeah.
I caught myself at the end of that what is in effect the first sentence / paragraph / bit of writing.
Yes.
I caught myself having too much humanisation in there and then remembering it was an audiobook.
Ah.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you mean by too much humanisation? And then you thought, no, because it's an audiobook. That's an interesting thing to say.
We have heard from audiobook narrators before that actually it is much less humanised. So it's not a character script. It is more a narrator script. But I don't know. It struck me that this was a person talking within the wider... This is not the narrator of the book necessarily. This is a character within the book.
Yes. I mean, this is quite first person, isn't it, this?
Yes.
So in that instance, perhaps you can characterise a little bit more. And this is the opening of the book.
You never normally bring the opening of anything. That's interesting.
I kind of pictured it like that. It's a sort of, you're opening, you can almost picture a character opening the first page of a book. And then as they're talking, you dive into the pages,
Yes. Yes. Well, Kitty, you got to go now. So I wonder if is there anything pertinent you need to ask Sam before you have a go?
Knowing that it's the beginning of the book sort of makes my choices maybe slightly different, but let's go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see.
The sale room of an old and famous firm of book auctioneers in London is, of course, a great meeting place for collectors, librarians, dealers. Not only when an auction is in progress, but perhaps even more notably when books that are coming on for sale are upon view. It was in such a sale room that the remarkable series of events began, which were detailed to me by the person whom they principally affected, namely Mr. James Denton, M.A., F.S.A., etc., now or lately of Rendcomb Manor in the country of Warwick.
Great pacing. Great pacing.
Yeah, lovely.
Yes.
Lovely pacing. And lovely intimate feel, actually, very much setting the scene.
Yes.
I was trying to go for a bit spooky, but I don't know if that came across.
I think it probably did, actually. Yes. I think it helps that we know it's a kind of a horror.
Yes, well, it helps. I don't think I would have done it otherwise. So thank you for the tip.
Well, the question is always, do we start ghostly or do we start light?
Quite. Yes.
Exactly.
Which means that then the ghostly happenings are,
Much darker.
are darker
Yes.
comparatively. So it's a choice, and absolutely. And there was a lovely intimacy, and often ghost stories, you can imagine a are sort of listened to in the dark.
In the dark.
Aren't they?
Yes.
With a
So you want to
torch
be
on your
sort of
face.
Close up, so that
welcomed
someone's
in,
going to
yeah.
jump out at you.
Ugh. So, Sam, do you want to show us what you did with it?
Yes, okay. I don't think it's wildly different, actually, from what's gone before, actually. But anyway, let's see. The sale room of an old and famous firm of book auctioneers in London is, of course, a great meeting place for collectors, librarians, dealers. Not only when an auction is in progress, but perhaps even more notably, when books that are coming on for sale are upon view. It was in such a sale room that the remarkable series of events began, which were detailed to me by the person whom they principally affected, namely Mr. James Denton, M.A., F.S.A., etc., etc., now, or lately, of Rendcomb Manor in the county of Warwick.
Now I think that James Denton is dead.
Exactly.
The way that you said lately, and I don't think either Kitty or I got that.
No, we didn't.
Interesting. And it's a tiny, subtle point, that, but it changed that entire paragraph.
It did.
That's one of the things that gives you a sort of... So if you notice it, great.
Yep.
It gives you that, oh, fuck.
Yes,
What's happened to
totally.
James Denton?
Yeah.
I was also thinking that it's right at the end of this paragraph that you have the etc., etc., but the fact that the narrator says that actually should inform the whole text, because there's a bit more sense of humour than you would initially think.
So there's a sort of conversational humour in it. They're talking directly to you.
Absolutely.
They're a real kind of... Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we all took it up a notch to RP+1.
Yes?
I think deliberately, because I think that is very much the way it's written.
Yes, and it's kind of old school.
Yeah, those sort of classic British ghost stories,
Yes.
which this is, written at the turn of last century. Yeah, there is this kind of feel for that.
Play, how do you say that?
Well, it's worthwhile remembering they are real scripts we're working on, but we've changed names and some details to avoid copyright issues, and you can find both the scripts we're using today in the show notes of the episode.
Kitty, your script is, as is often the case, very different.
Beautifully
so tell
different.
us a bit about yours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I recorded this last week, actually, and it's a really sweet job. It's the second time that I've done this. It's a trailer for a board game. And so it's a French board game company, and they make a little trailer in French and in English.
Yep.
And so I did both languages.
Do you? Now, that's interesting. So do they come to you specifically because you can do both languages?
Yes, I have some clients who come to me because they need both.
Yep.
And then I have others who will come to me for the English and then say, oh, you can also do French, great. Bearing in mind that most of my customers are French or Belgian.
Yeah.
So they would look elsewhere usually for the French, but they wouldn't necessarily have an English voice. Mm-hmm. And so I get in through the English door, and then I get the French as well.
I love the fact that there's an English door.
Yes, there very much is an English door, because for some reason, even though, the internet exists, they haven't really sort of copped on to the fact they can just... They like it. They like people being in the country that they're in and speaking English. The nice story about this is that the first time I did it was this whale puzzle. And I said, oh, well, I can completely project myself because it's for 7-year-olds and I have 7-year-old twins. And they sent me a copy of the game, which was really, really
nice.
lovely.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever had a freebie from work, so it was really lovely.
And did your kids like it?
Yes, they did. They were
Thank
playing
goodness.
it last weekend. Yes, I know.
Thank goodness.
Awkward.
You've obviously got a much friendlier voice than me, because I've only ever been paid in gin before now, which is not quite the same thing, is it?
That sounds
But what
way
a
better.
great way. What a great way of doing it.
I just think so is this also 7-year-olds sort of thing?
Yes, it is.
So we have to look at telling the kids in a way that they will be interested in without tipping over to patronisation.
That's right.
Yeah.
And actually, I would have tended to go quite big with this, but the client really didn't want me to.
Well, Kitty, you've listened to this. Normally I go in big and I have to just be pulled back.
I know.
Yes.
And there was up sound, was there between some of these sentences?
No. There should have been. No, it was actually, It was one of those ones where you have to kind of awkwardly wait for the next bit of video to come. So I don't know how they're going to do it in post, but it was actually a bit too slow. So have at it.
Okay.
Long, long ago, the Earth was populated with incredible dinosaurs. Much time has passed, and now only the fossils remain. Your task is to dig them up and reconstruct them. Get ready to discover buried secrets using your wheelbarrow and shovel with magic suction cup. Dig the site as a team. Examine your pieces and reconstruct the 5 fossils. Look after your tools and watch out for rocks so your shovels don't break. First, look for the 8 stars on your fossils. Then, find the egg with 2 stars and win the game.
You felt like favourite teacher there in a good way.
Well done. Yes.
I worried that I went too young, actually, halfway through that. I was thinking,
The only time I really thought that was when you did Magic Suction Cup. And I wondered exactly that point at there. But I think you pulled it back again.
Maybe. I think it probably was. It was just...
It's an odd thing to think about, a Magic Suction Cup, though, isn't it?
Yes, somehow when you read it for the first time, I was like, that sounds weird. It makes more sense when you see the picture.
Of course it does. I would hope it does, absolutely. I liked it. I think
I liked it
I think
too.
kids would go for that.
I think so too. I think that it was, you pitched it way younger than I did, and I actually really liked it, and it hadn't occurred to me that I could have done it that way.
You were probably right, because you gave them what they wanted, obviously, or they would have directed you in a different way. I think I pitched that at 5 to 6-year-old. So, there you go.
I've done quite a lot of ads for people like Mattel and Tomy for kids' games of this kind of age for TV. And they always want it very fast. But that's why they come to me. I don't know whether they're just trying to put more stuff in. Do you want me to see if that works for this?
If you're doing a kind of, they almost want it sort of manic because it's a toy ad kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, I think you should do that. I'd love to hear.
Patently not what you did, Kitty, from what you just said.
Because it's almost a description of the gameplay, as it were. So it's not the same as a commercial.
All right, let me give it a try and we'll see what comes out. Long, long ago, the Earth was populated with incredible dinosaurs. Much time has passed, and now only the fossils remain. Your task is to dig them up and reconstruct them. Get ready to discover buried secrets using your wheelbarrow and shovel with Magic Suction Cup. Dig the site as a team. Examine your pieces and reconstruct the 5 fossils. Look after your tools and watch out for rocks so your shovels don't break. First, look for the 8 stars on your fossils. Then find the egg with 2 stars and win the game.
Ah, lovely.
Bravo. That was great.
Yeah, I really liked that. That had energy in it. Really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded more like a commercial, but it really kind of brought the script alive. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly went more commercial-esque without a shadow of a doubt, yes.
Yeah,
I was relatively pleased with the look after your tools, watch out for rocks so your shovels don't break, because that was the sentence that jumped off the page at me when I read it, and I thought there's a number of different ways of doing that so that actually that point is made, because I assume you lose the game if your shovel breaks.
Yes, something like that, probably. Yeah.
Your pitching in terms of the age group, I think, was lovely. Insofar as you didn't do what I did, which was go too young. It's a really difficult thing to pitch, that middle ground, because they're not cool enough to be tweens.
They might feel as though you're talking down to them if you're being too babyish. I'm a big boy, I'm a big girl kind of
Yeah,
age.
I've got nephews who are 7 and 9, and they do not like being talked down to in any which way.
No. Okay, so Kitty, what did you do?
Show us what you did.
Okay. Long, long ago, the Earth was populated with incredible dinosaurs. Much time has passed, and now only the fossils remain. Your task is to dig them up and reconstruct them. Get ready to discover buried secrets using your wheelbarrow and shovel with Magic Suction Cup. Dig the site as a team, examine your pieces, and reconstruct the 5 fossils. Look after your tools and watch out for rocks so your shovels don't break. First, look for the 8 stars on your fossils. Then find the egg with 2 stars and win the game.
Oh my God, you brought your mum game in Look After the Tools.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I bought my mum game kind of.
I like that. No, I really liked that because it wasn't something that either Sam did or I did. And it was very different. And I thought, that works. That really works.
Yeah.
All 3 takes were really different and they all work for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Which is why you do this show. Yay!
Yeah, that's very true. I really want to hear it in French now, though.
Ooh. Okay, I can do that for you.
Can you?
If you want. Of course.
Oh, wow, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Go down to Magic Suction Cup. I want to hear what Magic Suction Cup is in French.
I want to hear what Magic Suction Cup is in French as well.
Il y a très longtemps, la Terre était peuplée de dinosaures incroyables. Le temps est passé et sous la Terre, il ne reste que des fossiles. À vous de creuser pour les reconstituer. Préparez pelle, brouette et la ventouse magique et partez à la découverte des secrets enfouis avec Name of the Brand.
Amazing. Do you know what? Round of applause.
I heard the Magic Suction Cup. I loved it.
Amazing.
I loved it.
That was great.
That's so
Thank you for that,
cool.
because your tone was similar.
Yes,
Which was
absolutely.
great.
Similar, yes. But did you find that the voice sounded the same? Because I feel like my voice sounds different in English than in French, but maybe
The
not.
voice, yes, but the tone the same.
The tone the same, yeah.
Yeah. God, that was lovely. And the very interesting thing about listening to something actually French, because French actually is a very musical language, is that you can almost switch off from the words, although obviously not from Magic Suction Cup, because that's a great word. No, but you can switch off from the words and hear the musicality.
Yes,
and
you
it's
can.
really interesting
Yes.
to listen to the rhythm and the music of your voice.
And you can
And
fully
you
focus on
realise
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, that's really interesting.
Actually, it's wonderful.
Well, who knows where we go next, people, because it's time for the wildcard bit of the show. We approach these scripts in a very different way. I mean, probably not in French.
Very
but-
different way. Kitty,
Yes.
could you choose either me or Mark and give us a new way of doing one of the scripts?
Absolutely, with pleasure. So, Mark, I am listening to all of the previous episodes. I love the way you go like full on with the first read. You go over the top, and I find it really hard to do that. So I just think it's completely
I think that's
fantastic.
me doing it wrong, Kitty. I think that
No, it's not. I
it's
disagree.
not.
I disagree. You're all in, and you go in sort of
are all
really
in.
kind of, and because you go over the top, and then you can always tone it down. But
Yes, I mean,
I just
directors do pull me back, yes.
Well,
I
exactly.
say that to you all the time. You're so good at that,
Yeah,
Mark.
so
You're
good at that.
And as we all know, when we've produced stuff ourselves, it's easier to pull someone back than it is to get
Yes.
more of a performance.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And I find it hard to sort of get going. It takes me about 3 or 4 times before I go the opposite way. So I admire that hugely.
Caffeine. That's what it is, Kitty.
That's
Caffeine.
So I've got a special one for you.
Okay.
So I would like you,
Special one.
a special one. I would like you to read script number 2, the Incredible Dinosaurs one,
Yeah.
as Gandalf talking to the Balrog. You shall not pass.
Oh, my God. Not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan, but I know who you're talking about. It's all right.
Oh my God, I want to hear this.
Right, okay. Long, long ago, the Earth was populated with incredible dinosaurs. Much time has passed, and now only the fossils remain. Your task is to dig them up and reconstruct them. Get ready to discover buried secrets using your wheelbarrow and shovel with Magic Suction Cup. Dig the site as a team. Examine your pieces and reconstruct the 5 fossils. Look after your tools and watch out for rocks so your shovels don't break. First, look for the 8 stars on your fossils. Then, find the egg with 2 stars and win the game!
Amazing.
I loved it. What was interesting, Mark, is that because the attack was incredible. You know, obviously this kind of huge,
Yes, and it is.
swoopy
Attack is the great word for that. Yeah.
But interestingly, you didn't. Obviously, you don't sound like that in real life, but you didn't change your voice that much. You didn't You didn't go sort of 105 or something or whatever you want to do.
I find there is
It's a choice.
There is a 20% difference between me and that, and another 20% difference between that and Santa, which of course I do all the time. So that's kind of
Nobody wants to peak with Santa too soon.
But I find that a comfortable area that I'm in. You know?
I know.
So
what you
it's
mean.
not
So
as
you
big
don't
a
want to-
difference as maybe you might think.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that.
Okay, Kitty. I would like you to do script 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like you to read it as if you're having a conversation with someone who is hanging on every word and they are interrupting you. So they keep asking questions between the sentences. So it's like do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as if somebody's asking you a very pertinent question, but one that you then have to answer them. Does that make sense?
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, I know who I'm going to channel. Great. Okay. Let's go for it. Ooh. So, the sale room of an old and famous firm of book auctioneers in London is, of course, yes, a great meeting place for collectors, librarians, dealers. Oh, not only when an auction is in progress, no, but perhaps even more notably when the books that are coming on for sale are upon view. It was in such a sale room that the remarkable series of events began, and which were detailed to me by the person whom they principally affected. Namely, Mr. James Denton, M.A., F.S.A., etc., now or lately of Rendcomb Manor, yes, in the country of Warwick.
Yeah, really good. I could absolutely tell when you were being interrupted. I thought you might get a bit more miffed at the interruptions than that, but you
oh, wow.
But in fact, I guess if you're a tour guide, that happens and you have to remain on that even keel. I thought that was really lovely.
Staying super friendly.
Yes, super friendly. Absolutely.
Even when they're asking you really weird questions.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, Mark. So you took tour guide from that?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't necessarily. I just took conversation, but I loved that. And actually, it's a good technique for voiceovers anyway with scripts. You could use it to much greater effect on your script, actually. Your script too.
True.
If you imagined a child asking you.
Yes.
And then answering them, as it were. A silent child.
A silent child.
That you can't hear. A silent child. Or a child that you can't hear. Yes, one of those. They don't exist. But I thought that was great. It breathed really different life into it.
I find it quite hard to maintain the pace. Or I thought that the pace got kind of samey of the questions and answered. I felt like I could have varied it a little bit. It kind of dropped in the middle there. But it was an interesting exercise because, it kind of goes... There's a sort of really back and forth pull.
Sam, I've got one for you.
Yes.
I would like you to be, because again, let's talk about the season. We're coming into Halloween season.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like you to be someone that is frightened, but I'm going to get you to do script 2. Almost scared of your own shadow, but you're trying to tell the people that you're with this story about dinosaurs, but you're scared.
Okay. I'm scared. Am I the final girl? I mean, is this the beginning?
Could well be. Could well be.
Okay, this is okay. So I'm scared of something that's happening outside of this conversation. Right, okay.
Long, long ago, the Earth was populated with incredible dinosaurs. Much time has passed. Now only the fossils remain. Your task is to dig them up and reconstruct them. Get ready to discover buried secrets using your wheelbarrow and shovel with magic suction cup. Dig the site as a team. Examine your pieces and reconstruct the 5 fossils. Look after your tools. Watch out for rocks. So your shovels don't break first. Look for the 8 stars on your fossils. Then win the egg with the 2 stars and win the game.
Do you know what? You
so
went
good.
so intimate with that. Because it was a question that if the awful thing that you were scared of heard you, they would be on you. I thought that was lovely and quite scary.
That was so good. There was a moment after Magic Suction Cup where you paused.
I thought we'd lost the line.
No, and it was and you let the fear build up. It was just you really mastered the silence in that. It was very cool.
You did.
Do you know what I didn't do? And what I didn't do at the beginning was work out whether this was a comedic piece or a genuinely frightened piece.
Yep.
And I started in a more comedic place and then thought, no, I should have been. So I did change it.
Yes, and you changed it on Much Time Has Passed because you squeaked on Much Time Has Passed with fear.
Yeah.
And yes, I did notice that. Interesting breakdown of what you did there. But yeah, no, I saw that.
It was actually quite fun to do. But I imagine myself in a very, very dark place, kind of like a room in a house in a house.
Yeah. Oh,
not a room in a house in a house, just a room in a house. But with potential happenings outside of that room.
And there's something that you did that was quite cool, and I wondered whether you were going to do it. Was because you were sort of talking in little bits, but then you switched to talking a lot very quickly, and then back to little bits, and that was that really worked.
It did. Absolutely. Well, if you want to have a go at that in the privacy of your own booth or any of the other characters or anything else you want to try, as we've said before, we've put the scripts in the show notes. You can have a try yourself.
So, Kitty.
Yes.
As we know, you love a good voiceover conference.
And so you recently started a newbie group at One Voice. Can you tell us a bit about that? And specifically, I suppose, why you started it?
When I started voiceover, I was living in Sweden. I fell into it kind of by accident. And I remember I booked this big job quite quickly. I think I was going to get sort of €2,000 for it or something. And I had been learning things on Gravy for the Brain, and the One Voice conference was coming up. And so I thought, I'll book myself over. And then the job got cancelled. But it's never something that I would have done so soon in my career if I hadn't had that impetus. And I arrived in London knowing not a single person. I think I'd met 2 people online briefly. And the idea was kind of terrifying. And so before I went, I put a thing on the Facebook group saying, is it anyone else's first time? Is anyone else a newbie? Let's have a little call beforehand, and then we can all meet each other at the drinks on Friday, and so that we don't walk into a room full of strangers, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm terrified. So I did that for my first conference, and it worked so well that I am best friends with 5 of the people who joined, and we now have a sort of a chat, and it was really lovely.
And so now do you kind of host that for other newbies that come along?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it was a couple of years ago. I was at the conference having a great time as usual, because I'm an extrovert who has found a job in a tiny little space all by myself, so I need an outlet. And I was talking to someone whose first time it was, who said, I found it kind of difficult, I found it really cliquey, I found it hard to meet people. And I thought, what? That's such a shame, because this is the voiceover community is the complete opposite of that. Everyone is so welcoming, and it's such a shame that you've had this experience. And so I pitched to Hugh the idea of trying what I'd done just for myself as more of an official group. And I trialled it. We trialled it last May at the One Voice, and it worked really well. And all it is just starting a Facebook group and telling anyone whose first time it is to join. And we have a video call beforehand where people can ask questions.
Oh, that's good. And then you can see each other's faces as well, so you recognise people. Yeah, what a good idea. Yep.
And then we have a WhatsApp group on during the weekend, and most of all, so
does
what
it go,
I did was,
help, I can't find anyone?
I know. Well, what it is, I stood at the sort of entrance on the Friday night, and I sort of rushed around finding anyone who looked a bit lost, saying, hello, are you a newbie? Oh. and I would introduce everyone, and so I introduced all of the new people, and then we all went out for dinner in the pub, and I think that it made a difference anyway to those people, because I then saw them kind of chatting together afterwards, and I've benefited so much from how lovely the voiceover community is, how generous and kind of welcoming, that I I want everyone else to have the same experience I did. And yeah, it means I have even more friends. Yay!
Absolutely. Well, quite absolutely. Kitty, it's great. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and telling us all about that.
Such a pleasure. I think what you're doing is great. It's so much fun to listen back to, and also it keeps us fresh and interested in what we're doing, because it's so easy to get into the sort of samey reads, when you're on your fifth corporate of the day some days. And listening to this just really, really brings us back into what's amazing about our job. So thank you guys.
I'm glad it's working. All of Kitty Lyddon's details can be found in the show notes of the episode.
Absolutely, as can the scripts if you'd like to practice with them. There's a fantastic script library.
There really
now.
is 144 episodes, very much so. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks again to Kitty Lyddon. We'll be back next week with more scripts and another voiceover guest when we'll be asking, this is where we do it all together, Kitty, are you ready? We'll be asking, how do you say that?
How do you say that?